My 3.5 day trip started in Brookline, traveling through Connecticut, along the south shore of Long Island to Staten Island, and then north up the Hudson River to Tarrytown, through Danbury, Connecticut, and Great Barrington, Massachusetts, before returning home. The first stop was the Coast Guard Academy in New London. The Coast Guard dates from 1790, but the academy was built in 1932 along the Thames River. Almost 1,000 cadets attend. The small museum displays an early life car used in rescues from grounded ships, a Fresnel lens used to magnify light in a lighthouse, a Nazi flag captured by the Coast Guard in a raid on Cherbourg, France in World War II, and the figurehead from the Coast Guard training tall ship Eagle. Day 2 started with the New London ferry to Orient Point, Long Island, a $29, 1 hour and 20-minute trip across Long Island Sound. The flat, sandy terrain from Orient Point to Greenport reminds me a little of Cape Cod. At Greenport, the North Ferry makes the 8-minute crossing to Shelter Island. Much of this 12-square-mile island is owned by the Nature Conservancy, a few hamlets and villages, but no Dunkin' Donuts or Home Depots anywhere. Another small ferry crosses the distance between Shelter Island and Sag Harbor. The historic whaling village of Sag Harbor, near the eastern end of Long Island, is home port to many luxury yachts. Another 20 miles east of Sag Harbor is Montauk Point, the easternmost point of Long Island. The Lighthouse is a National Historic Landmark. Authorized by George Washington, it was completed in 1796. The climb up the 137 steps offers a stunning view to the east. The Keeper's House has a variety of maritime exhibits. Fire Island is the largest of a series of barrier islands along the south shore of Long Island. It suffered extensive damage from Hurricane Sandy and is undergoing a beach restoration effort by the Corps of Engineers and the National Park Service. Floyd Bennett Field opened in 1931 as New York's first municipal airport and was converted to a naval air station in 1941. It was the most active airport in the United States during World War II. Now, Floyd Bennett Field is now dedicated to the celebration of aviation history, sports, and the great outdoors, and includes the Historic Aircraft Restoration Project, which restores and maintains a wide variety of aircraft. Day 2 ended in Coney Island, 150 miles from Montauk Point. In the distance, the Verrazano Narrows Bridge, connecting Brooklyn with Staten Island, presents the challenge for Day 3. But for now, the wide boardwalk and lively evening social activity offer a respite at the end of a long day. As I discovered on the morning of Day 3, the amusements are at the opposite end of the Coney Island boardwalk. Nathan's and most of the rides were not yet open. One ride was operating, but I wouldn't want to try this ride. The mile-long Verrazano Narrows Bridge will carry me from Brooklyn to Staten Island. As I enter the ramp, I keep the throttle wide open to gain as much speed as possible. At 55 miles per hour, I will be the slowest and smallest vehicle. I learned that riding a scooter surrounded by buses and 18-wheelers and buffeted by a stiff crosswind is not for the faint-hearted. Fortunately, the $15 toll was only $6 for motorcycles. Guarding the New York Narrows since the Revolution, Fort Wadsworth, on the north end of Staten Island, offers a stunning view of the Manhattan skyline. Now managed by the National Park Service, Fort Wadsworth is the starting point for the New York Marathon. During the mid-19th century, Washington Irving wrote many short stories. His best known are The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle. A prolific author, he lived at his cottage called Sunnyside on the shore of the Hudson River in Tarrytown, New York. From Tarrytown, I traveled north along smaller roads to Danbury, Connecticut, then along scenic Route 7 to Stockbridge and the Red Lion Inn for supper. The Red Lion Inn dates back over 200 years. The informal Lion's Den in the basement is the perfect place to enjoy a hearty meal and nightly folk, country, and bluegrass music before heading home.